because of how unattractive she looked. On graduation day, Annie tricked the boy she'd secretly loved for 4 years into coming home with her. But Dexter turned out to be way more rational than she expected. He just spent the whole night telling her fairy tales. Nothing else happened. They traveled together over the summer, went swimming in the heat, held each other when they got hurt, but they never became a couple. Afterward, they made a pact to meet once a year, every July 15th. In 1989, they met for the first time after graduation. Dreaming of becoming a writer, moved to Paris, hoping for a bright future, but reality hit her hard. With no name recognition, her writing didn't earn a cent. To make ends meet, Annie worked in a small restaurant, dealing with rude customers and even harassment. Bit by bit, her passion faded. She called Dexter for comfort.
I thought I'd make a difference, but no one knows I'm here.
But the call is always cut off after a few minutes. She never had enough balance on her phone. Dexter's life, meanwhile, couldn't have been more different. With his good looks, women were always chasing him. A year later, Annie still hadn't made any progress as a writer. Instead, she got promoted to restaurant manager. Dexter encouraged her to keep going. They agreed to take a vacation together next time they met. It took a full year, but on July 15th, 1992, they finally took that trip. Maybe it was the romantic vibe of the bar, or maybe she just needed to let it all out. Annie told Dexter everything she felt. She said she'd written him tons of poems. Dexter just smiled, then pulled her into the pool for a late-night swim.
You know, I thought about you. I think about you.
What he said almost brought Annie to tears, but then he added,
The problem is I fancy pretty much everyone.
maybe he was just too used to being just friends, or maybe he was scared of losing her. Either way, Dexter stayed hesitant. By 1993, Dexter had become the host of a late-night talk show, but on July 15th, he didn't show up. He only called. Annie didn't answer. She was on a date with Ian.
But you go ahead. You can have anything you like. Anything up to the value of, say, £14? No, seriously, no, have anything.
Ian was a stand-up comic, but his jokes weren't funny at all. He wasn't charming or witty like Dexter, but he was honest, and that gave Annie a rare sense of safety. By July 15th, 1994, Annie still didn't take Dexter's call. She'd entered a whole new phase of life. Now she was a high school literature teacher. Her life with Ian was simple, but stable. Dexter's world, however, was falling apart. His mother passed away. His show was tanking. He desperately wanted to see Annie, but she was always too busy. Finally, on July 15th, 3 years later, they met again. Annie dressed up for the occasion, and Dexter was still charming, but he kept cracking shallow jokes. Both of them tried to act like their lives were going great, while constantly making jabs at each other. Eventually, Annie had enough. How could a regular high school teacher ever compare with a TV host? Dexter chased after her, apologizing. The truth was, they'd both been through a lot these past 3 years.
I know that you have been through a lot with your mum and all. I know, but there are things that I needed to talk to you about how I'm stuck in a flat with a man that I am not in love with. And if I can't talk to you, then what is the point of you, of us?
What do you mean, what's the point?
Annie felt like she and Dexter were drifting apart. Dexter thought Annie had become boring. They weren't the same people anymore. But just as she was about to walk away for good, she turned around and gave him one last hug.
I love you, Dexter.